I never imagined I would hear those words in a crowded coffee shop, shouted across the hum of clinking cups and barista chatter, like a slap that echoed in my chest. "Your wife is dating my husband." I froze mid-step, the caramel latte I had just ordered trembling in my hand. My mind raced, a frantic carousel of disbelief. I turned slowly, trying to locate the woman who had dared to say it aloud, and there she was, fuming, eyes blazing, pointing directly at me. Her husband, I assumed, was slouched at a nearby table, pretending to scroll through his phone, but I saw the guilt swimming in his gaze before he could hide it. I swallowed hard, trying to find words. My wife, Clara, who I had trusted with everything, my heart, my home, my most vulnerable secrets, was here. And she was laughing with him. Laughing as if the world around her had no weight, no consequence, as if she hadn't just annihilated the foundation of our marriage in front of strangers. "Excuse me," I finally managed, my voice cracking. The woman's glare didn't soften. "You heard me. She's been seeing him behind your back. Don't bother pretending you didn't know. I've been trying to warn people like you for months." A cold, sickly sensation spread from my stomach to my chest. I couldn't breathe. Betrayal, I realized, wasn't just a word. It was a living, breathing thing, slithering through your veins, consuming rational thought, leaving only raw, pulsating pain. I looked around, searching for Clara, but she was gone. Just like that. I couldn't see her anywhere. My heart sank further. Did she leave because she had been caught? Or had she planned this, letting the truth fall into my lap like a bomb, watching me shatter from a safe distance? The next few days passed in a blur, but my mind was a storm. Every memory of Clara became suspect. Every laugh, every touch, every whispered "I love you" now seemed like a calculated lie. I replayed conversations in my head, hunting for clues, analyzing her tone, her gestures, her absence in moments when she claimed to be busy. And then it hit me, our last weekend together. I had gone away for a business trip, expecting her to miss me, to long for my return. But her texts had been sparse, flat, almost disinterested. At the time, I had chalked it up to her being tired, but now, every text felt like a dagger she had left for me to find when the truth came out. I tried confronting her over the phone. "Clara, we need to talk." My voice was steadier than I felt. There was a long pause. Then her tone, calm, almost bored. "We're fine, Daniel." "Really?" "You're overthinking." "Overthinking?" I snapped, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. "The woman I married is dating someone else, and you call me overthinking?" She didn't answer. She just hung up. Weeks passed. I was a ghost in my own life, navigating the world as if trapped behind a glass wall. Friends reached out, confused by my silence. Family called, unaware of the storm brewing in my home. I couldn't bear to see anyone. Every conversation felt like a lie I was complicit in, every smile a mask I had to wear to avoid showing the depth of my devastation. It wasn't until I saw her by chance at a small art gallery downtown that reality hit me like a freight train. Clara was there, standing close to him, her new partner, the man from the coffee shop, and laughing in a way that had once belonged to me. She didn't see me at first. I watched her, my stomach twisting, my hands trembling. She was alive, vibrant, unburdened by guilt, while I felt hollowed out. I wanted to scream. I wanted to storm up to her and demand answers. Instead, I did the only thing I could think of. I followed. The following weekend, I orchestrated what I later called the date from hell. I knew her schedule, I knew his favorite restaurant, and I knew exactly how to confront them without losing my mind entirely in front of strangers. I arrived early, claiming a reservation under a false name. As I waited, I rehearsed what I would say, how I would expose the lie, how I would reclaim some shred of dignity. My hands shook, my chest ached, but I told myself, I deserved the truth. They arrived together, laughing as if the world had not watched me unravel for weeks. Clara's eyes lit up when she saw the restaurant, her smile dazzling and cruelly familiar. The man beside her, her new lover, grinned, unaware that his actions were about to collide violently with reality. He approached, calmly, meticulously, not like a man ready to explode, but like someone who had thought about this moment 1,000 times, who had rehearsed every word. "Hello," I said, my voice steady. "Fancy seeing you two here." They froze. Clara's eyes widened in shock, the mask slipping for a fraction of a second. "Daniel," she gasped, her tone a mix of fear and indignation. "Yes, Daniel," I said, sitting down across from them without invitation. The maitre d' hesitated, unsure, but I gestured for him to leave us be. I don't understand." Clara's voice faltered. "You will," I said. "I think it's time we had an honest conversation." Her lover looked between us, confusion flickering across his face. "Wait, what's going on?" Clara opened her mouth to speak, then paused, the truth caught in her throat. I leaned forward, my gaze locked on hers. "Do you remember the vows we made?" I asked softly, almost whispering. "The promises we swore to each other. Did they mean anything to you?" She flinched. I saw it, the smallest crack in her armor. "They." "Daniel, Her words faltered again. I swallowed the lump in my throat, pushing forward. "You lied to me. You lied to us. I gave you everything. My heart, my home, my life, and you traded it for this." I gestured to the man beside her. "For him." Her lover opened his mouth, but I silenced him with a raised hand. "No, you don't get to speak. This is between us." Clara's eyes brimmed with tears. I didn't mean for it to happen like this." I was confused. Confused. My voice cracked, barely contained. "You think that explains it? You think the months of secrecy, the deception, the betrayals are confusion?" I could see the shame in her, the way she shrank under the weight of her own guilt. And yet, part of me still ached with longing for the woman I had married, the woman who had whispered promises in the dark, who had held me when I was afraid. Hours passed in that small, tense bubble of confrontation. I asked questions, demanded honesty, and finally they spoke. Slowly, painfully, the truth emerged. There had been no grand love story, no whirlwind romance that swept her off her feet. There had been loneliness and fear, and the seductive pull of someone who seemed to see her, finally, in ways I hadn't. And yet, knowing all of this didn't ease the sting. Betrayal, I realized, wasn't about intent. It was about consequence. The world they had created in secret had collided violently with mine, leaving devastation in its wake. By the time we left the restaurant, night had fallen. The streets were quiet, and I walked home alone, the city lights flickering like broken promises. My heart was heavy, but in a strange, twisted way, there was clarity. I understood finally that I couldn't change what had happened. I could only decide what came next. Weeks later I moved out. Clara stayed, and in the silence that followed I grieved. Not just for her, not just for the marriage, but for the version of myself who had believed in love, who had trusted without hesitation. I grieved for the life we had imagined, now shattered. But there was something else too. In the absence of betrayal, I found fragments of myself I had forgotten. I learned that pain could coexist with resilience, that heartbreak could coexist with hope. And though the memory of Clara's betrayal would always sting, it became a reminder that life could be rebuilt, even when everything seemed lost. Sometimes late at night I think back to that day at the gallery, to the shouted words, to the confrontation that left me raw and trembling. I remember the betrayal, yes, but I also remember the moment I chose myself over the illusion of her love. And that choice, small as it felt at the time, became my lifeline. Betrayal had stolen a chapter of my life, but it could never steal the entire story.